Hey, hey, hey. My name is Dani Schenone and I am a registered yoga teacher and certified personal trainer here to help you feel better in your body. This is part 3 of a 10-part series. We started with our feet, then our legs, and now the hips. My favorite area of the body to inject movement into. We will need 2 blocks today, and if you don't have those, paper towels, rolls of paper towels will do. And if you are considering using my playlist that I have made for this class, you can press play now. Let's get started. Making your way into a comfortable seat, bring your blocks with you. We'll take what's called a fire log pose. You'll grab your left foot and place it over your right knee, stacking knee over foot, foot over knee. You might find here that this is like, if that is you, you can grab a hold of your foot and take it atop a block. That'll still give you the same external rotation of the hip, but it's just a little bit easier on that joint. So take what you need, and if you do have your foot over your knee, the blocks in front of you are still gonna be a good idea, okay? Now, sometimes you have to kind of peel away the flesh so that your sits bones can rest firmly on the mat, so feel free to do that. You literally just saw me and sit my sits bones down. So here we are in our fire log pose. I want you to have a tall spine, slight tuck of the chin. Inhale, lift your arms up towards the sky. And then exhale, put your hands out long in front of you and start to forward fold, keeping a straight back here. Now imagine an anvil was tied underneath that knee, pulling it down. That's the energetic feeling you should have there. Send a few breaths to the left hip. And then we'll unwind. Coming onto the other side. So go ahead and just flip. Grabbing onto your right foot, placing it atop the left knee now, or right foot over a block, yogi's choice. Trying to stack knee over foot, foot over knee, long spine. Remember, maybe you gotta pull away the flesh so that you're firmly planted into the mat. Lift the crown of your head, slight tuck of that chin. Inhale, lift your arms up towards the sky. And then exhale, put them right in front of you, maybe onto blocks like I have. Now I might be coming off screen, but you'll notice that my back is flat, my shoulders are softened down the back, and I'm leading with my heart space hinging at the hips. Remembering that anvil pulling the knee down, down, down. We'll take a few more breaths on this side. And then slowly walk your hands up, place your blocks to the sides. Now plant your heels firmly in the mat, toes up towards the sky. Hands can come to heart center, bringing your legs to like a 90-degree angle. So ankle in line with knee, knee in line with your hip, yeah? Hands come to heart center, dropping your knees over to the left, noticing that your right hip is lifting up off the mat. That's okay. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, dropping the knees over to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, drop to the left. Maybe that right knee softens down to the mat. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, drop all the way over to the right. Maybe your left knee comes down. That's it. That's all we were going to do. So rolling over onto your knees, making your way into tabletop pose. I will come to the top of my mat, as will you. If you aren't already there, shoulders stacked over wrists, hips are over our knees in our tabletop pose. Bringing this left knee to midline, stick that right leg out long back behind you and set the toes onto the mat. Elongate the back of your neck so you're gazing in between your thumbs. Inhale, lift that right leg up off the mat, flex hard into the toes, face them down. Exhale, bend the knee, place the knee behind the left knee. So as you can see here, I'll turn here so you can see what's going on. That's what it should look like, yeah? So we'll come here, shoulders stacked over wrists, and then you'll start to walk your hands towards the top of the mat until your forearms reach the top of the mat. And then from there, push in to the hips. And if you don't feel it, walk your hands or your forearms forward towards the top of your mat. You should really feel this in the left hip. Maybe you bring your third eye center to the mat and rock it side to side. Sending your breath to the left hip, using it as medicine. All right, so how do we get out of this? You'll start to kind of creepy crawl your forearms towards your chest and then press into your wrists. Lift that right leg up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, lower it down, rock your hips left to right. Let's go on to the other side. So right knee comes to midline this time. Kickstand your left leg long behind you. Inhale, lift that left leg up. Exhale, you hold, flex super hard into your left foot. Bringing that left hip squaring down. Breathe in. Breathe out, bend knee, and then place that knee behind the opposite knee again. It looks something like this. And then you'll come onto your forearms, pressing back into that right hip. I know that there's an actual name for this, but I call it the Mary move because one of my friends, I went through YTT with her actually. YTT stands for yoga teacher training. If you need to walk your hands farther forward, do that. YTT stands for yoga teacher training, and she used to do this a lot in her classes, and I just love her so much. So in the off chance, Mary, if you're watching this was inspired by you. I love you so much. Maybe you bring the third eye center to the mat and rock it left to right, sending your breath to the right hip, creating space. Now, how do we get out of this? Let's creepy crawl our forearms towards our chest, plant into the wrists. Inhale, lift that left leg high. Exhale, down. Wow, that was really tight for me. My hips are tight like a twig. Okay, let's curl our toes into the mat, lift our hips up, coming into downward facing dog. Go ahead and paddle out your dog, make it feel good. If you were with us last week, you'll know I like to rock my hips left to right to get through the lats and side body. And then soften those heels down towards the mat, finding some stillness in your downward facing dog. With an inhale, you'll bring your left foot to midline as your right leg lifts up towards the sky. And then exhale, knee to nose, pulling it through or helping it, low lunge. Soften that back knee down on curl back toes. Bring your hands to your front thigh. Here we are in our crescent moon pose, or Anjaneyasana in Sanskrit. Bringing that front knee over your bottom ankle. Sending your breath to the top of the left hip. And then maybe it feels good, you can kind of arch and extend the spine and really press into your hips, pressing them forward. Maybe the arms come up to the sky. Breathe in, breathe out. If you want a little bit more, bend into the left elbow, reach for it with the opposite hand and lean over to the right. Big breath in, slow breath out. Release the arms up towards the sky. Inhale. And then exhale, bring your hands down on either side of your front foot. Heel toe your front foot out to the side. And then maybe you curl the back toe, lift the back knee, and readjust, coming into a lizard pose. Now, if you were with us last week, you'll know that we did do a variation of this. We'll do something a little differently this week. I'm going to grab onto my blocks, take them to the second level. Coming to the left side edge of your mat, the diagonal side, breathe in, and then breathe out, press back into your hips. Oof. Breathe in, breathe out. Can you let go of your quads, your glutes, That's it. You're doing great, sweetie. Coming back to center, releasing the blocks if you have them, or you can use them. Curl your back toe, lift your back knee up. Using that core, come back into a downward facing dog. And we'll come on to the other side. Right foot comes to midline. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose, pulling it through, low lunge. Back knee softens, uncurl back toes, coming into your crescent moon pose. Front knee stacked over bottom ankle. Sending your breath to the top of the right hip. Maybe your arms come up towards the sky. And then if it feels good, you can press your hip pointers forward, maybe a slight extension of the spine. And if you want a little bit more, bending into the right elbow, grabbing onto it the opposite hand, leaning over towards the left. Breathe in. Breathe out. Release, inhale, arms come up towards the sky. Exhale, both hands on either side of that front foot. Heel toe it out to the side, coming into your lizard. Maybe your hands come to blocks, highly recommend, or your paper towels. Bringing them to the right side edge of your mat, pressing back into the hips. Allowing yourself to come back to center, releasing the blocks, planting the palms, curl back toe, lift back knee, making your way into that downward facing dog. Good job. Allow yourself to come into tabletop, sit back onto your heels and lift your shoulders up over your hips. All right, now we will do arguably the hardest, most difficult pose of our practice here today. It's called frog pose. I will cue it. My face will kind of be away from you. Actually, no. I'm going to turn towards you so that you can kind of see it. So you'll come along the long side of your mat. Bring your blocks. You will want them. I pinky promise you. I had to scoot my mat a little bit. So your knees will be on the mat as well as the tops of your ankles, yeah? Go ahead and widen your knees. Bring your big toes to touch. And then widen your knees a little bit more. Widen, widen, widen until you can't widen anymore. Now, opening your feet so that they're stacked just underneath the knees, bringing the inside edge of the foot onto the mat. This might already be enough. You can keep your spine, your chest lifted. Simply soften the shoulders down the back and push back into the hips. If you want a little bit more, you can start to bring your blocks down, bring your forearms down. Maybe you clasp your hands, elongate the back of the neck, looking in between your blocks or in between your forearms. You might notice that your knees want to widen a little bit more. Go ahead and let them. At any time, if this feels badly, you'll just press your hip pointers forward and come out of it. But if you can you press your hip pointers back behind you? Oof. So if we're taking a yin class, and let me know if you want to see a yin class here, because I'm more than happy to teach it. I love yin. We would be holding this pose for like 2 to 3 to 4 minutes. Can you believe? We will not be doing that today. Take a deep breath in, slow breath out. Okay, you're probably asking yourself, Dani, how the am I going to get out of this pose? I will show you. Okay, so we'll press our hip pointers forward, lift our feet up the mat, point the toes, bring the big toes to touch, sink back onto our heels, press into the ground with our forearms or our blocks, use that core, inhale, bring your knees together. Exhale, come back onto your heels. Well done. Sit to the side and then come into a wide leg towards the long side of your mat. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, lead with the chest forward fold like we did last week. Keep those toes flexed and then release them. And with your next breath, slowly pick yourself up, shoulders stack over hips. Turn towards the short side of the mat, the top of the mat, and then lower all the way onto your back. Plant into the soles of your feet, bend the knees, and just lower yourself down. Rocking your knees left to right. Just moving your way through those hips. We'll come into our final pose of our time together here today. Bring your knees up towards the sky and then plant your low belly into the mat. Notice how if I'm letting my spine extend or open up, my low back isn't planted into the mat. Stamping the low back into the mat really helps, especially in this pose. Bring your left foot to midline and then lift your right leg up towards the sky, bend the knee, stack right knee over left. This might be where you stay, or your left hand will grab your right foot, your right hand will grab your left foot. Now I have really short legs, so this likely will not look the way it does on you. If you can keep your knees connected, cool. If you can lift your heels up away from your body, cool. If you need more, flex into your feet and pull them away from the midline or away from the belly button. If you're like me and you're sort of holding on for true dear life, you'll just stay here in this tight little pretzel. Send your breath to the right hip, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Unwind, bring the soles of your feet into the mat, rock your knees left to right. Ooh, good Lord. And then let those knees lift up towards the sky. Right foot plants, left leg lifts, bend left knee, stack left knee over right. You can always stay here. If you want a little bit more, right hand grabs onto right hand grabs onto left foot. Left hand grabs onto right foot. Coming into your reclined Gomukhasana or reclined cow face pose. Again, as you can see, I'm in quite a tight little pretzel. But if you can keep your knees connected, if you can peel your heels up off the body, if you can flex into your feet, any one of those or all three are great to add a little bit more to this pose. If you're already having a hard time, just stay with me. Let your legs kind of do what they do. Just keep a flex into the feet if you possibly can. And if you can't into both feet, definitely this left foot. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Slowly release the feet, unwind the legs, soles of the feet into the mat, rock those knees left to right. We'll finally make our way into an easy seat. Either come into the fetal pose, press yourself up with your top hand, or simply bring your knees into your chest and roll all the way up. Easy seat facing the top of your mat. Inhale, lift your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Thank you so much for dedicating time to your practice, to developing a healthier relationship with your body and honoring it by moving it. Thank you so much. Ending our practice with namaste. Thank you. If you are picking up what I'm putting down, please like, subscribe, and comment. I would so welcome your feedback. And if you have anything that you want me to do, please let me know. We'll see you next time.